we are bombarded by social media. It's telling us about the things that might be inserted in the vaccine, like microchip. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what people say. And as we look around, and all these things are creating so much fear in people's minds. Another one they emphasize is that it might actually change our DNA.
Sure. So certainly there are quite a number of fake news, taking rounds in social media, conspiracy theories, and all kinds of things that you can imagine about vaccines. So the answer is that if you look at vaccines, the way they are manufactured, and the way they are assessed, by regulatory authorities and anyone who is in the vaccine field, we look at the quality. In other words, how the vaccine is manufactured, including all the components of the vaccines. We look at the safety and we look at the efficacy. So we spoke quite a lot about safety and efficacy. But what we don't tend to emphasize is actually the quality of the vaccine. You heard about the vaccines that arrived from Serum Institute of India, the vaccines that arrived in South Africa. What happened to those vaccines? The samples of the vaccines were randomly taken and shipped to National Control Laboratory. What the National Control Laboratory will do is actually to verify the components of the vaccine. They will look at the label that is on the vial, and they will test the vaccine to ascertain that what is on the label is actually what is contained in the vaccine. They will look at the concentration, and they will also look at the safety of the vaccine, that the vaccine is still safe. They will look at things like temperature, if the vaccine, for some other reasons, during the transportation, the cold chain was undermined. So this is just part of the process that the countries, manufacturers, regulatory authorities have to do to ensure the quality and the integrity of the vaccines. So to say that vaccines have got microchips is not true. To say that vaccines will somehow transform our DNA or change our DNAs is not true. If I can elaborate a little bit on this one, because it's something that is said by many people, but maybe they don't understand how the vaccines interact with the cells in our bodies. If I think about it, it looks like people say if a vaccine is made of, let's say, the genetic material of the virus, and in this case, we know that we do have RNA vaccines, right? Therefore, the genetic material of the virus will change our genetic material. And it's not true. For the viruses, for example, when they replicate in the body, in our cells, right? If it is an RNA virus, usually they replicate in the cytoplasm. And if you ask a question, where is our DNA in the cells? The DNAs are in the nucleus. And I'm sure you remember this because it is taught, in high school biology, right? So how do you get an RNA in the cytoplasm changing the DNA in the nucleus? It's not possible, right? And one just has to answer these concerns because they keep on coming, and sometimes people say this conspiracy theories without, in fact, they say them without any basis. So our job is to provide the answers and and scientific answers. So don't be afraid. You should know that the vaccines do not have any microchips to track people. They do not change anyone's DNA, and they are rigorously tested, for quality and safety before they are used in humans.